Alex Armstrong, a GB News presenter, has ignited a discourse with the Homeland Party activist and senior figure Steve Laws. This comes in response to the claim made by Steve that Rishi Sunak and Suella Braverman are not English. Mr. Armstrong does not claim that Rishi Sunak or Suella Braverman are ethnically English, but he says that they are culturally English and therefore English. His claim, to put it simply, is that English has a double meaning. To look into this, one must ask, what does English really mean? Oxford Languages defines it as relating to England or its people or language. We can obviously drop or language, since that refers to something entirely different. The meaning of this is of course vague, so let's look into the etymology instead to dig deeper into what it really means. English originates from the Old English word English, which meant of or relating to the Angles. The Angles were a Germanic tribe that, along with the Saxons and Jutes, migrated to Britain in the early Middle Ages. Therefore, to be English is to have a clear line of ancestry to this tribe. Of course, words can always be adapted and changed to mean more or different things in efforts to fit more appropriately to modern times. Perhaps Armstrong is simply attempting to do exactly this, in order to include non-ethnically English people into what it means to be English, considering the rapidly changing demographic makeup of the country. There's nothing inherently wrong with doing this. However, if being culturally English makes one literally English, we have to look into the meaning of culturally. Culturally means, as defined by Oxford Languages yet again, means in a way that relates to the ideas, customs, and social behaviours of different societies. We can switch out different societies to English to make it more appropriate in the discourse and get the definition in a way that relates to the ideas, customs, and social behaviours of the English. There's a very obvious problem here. With this definition, Rishi Sunak could make the statement, "I am English." But culturally means, definitionally, to be in a way and like the English. I am, to state I am English, means to be and to be in a way similar to directly oppose each other. If a morbidly obese person says I am a whale and meant it literally rather than metaphorically, the word whale becomes utterly confusing. Should we treat both the whale and obese people the same, or should we accept that being in some way like something does not mean you physically exist as that thing? We see this debate with transgenderism. They say gender and sex is different. Well, to say I am a woman and to say I identify and appear as a woman and am somewhat like a woman are very, very, very different things. And if you say that a woman can mean both of these things, it becomes utterly confusing as to what a woman is. There is no clear definition. And that's why you get documentaries like Matt Walsh's What is a Woman? If we deny this definition, if we deny this reality and state that someone who is ethnically English and someone who is similar to the English are both equally as English, what does this entail? Well, by widening the criteria for English identity, it implies that replacement migration does not exist as long as the other ethnic groups that are replacing this ethnic group act English. But we run into yet another problem here. England is named after the English people. England meaning the land of the Angles. If Anglo-Saxon Englishmen are outnumbered within their borders, it is no longer the land of the Angles, meaning England ceases to be England. As we all know, culture is constantly changing. What was culturally English 500 years ago is not what is culturally English today. But guess what? They are both culturally English because at the time, that was the culture of the ethnically English people. If England, however, were to stop being the land of the Anglos in a future of ethnic replacement, and the land were to instead be inhabited by other ethnic groups, then the culture of those people eventually becomes the culture of those people instead of the culture of the English, considering that it would be them who are the ones practicing it. Therefore, if we follow the idea that people who act like the English are the English to its logical conclusion, then without the English ethnicity, there is no English culture. Picture this, okay? Indians replace the English as an ethnicity. England is no longer the land of the Anglos, because Anglo-Saxon, is an ethnicity. It is then India land or something like that. The culture of that landmass is no longer English culture. It is the culture of India land, which is inhabited by Indian people ethnically, and therefore the culture of that area becomes Indian culture, even if they quite literally acted the exact same way to early 21st century Englishmen. It would still no longer be English culture. So ultimately, even if English is both an ethnicity and a culture, the existence of the English and Englishness always relies on ethnicity. Without English ethnicity, there is no such thing as English culture. This is why demographics always matters, because to be culturally English depends upon the existence of the ethnic English themselves and their status as a majority on their ancestral homeland. So I hope this is a good description of everything. I should be releasing this on the same day as the discourse. There's yet to be a debate about it. I believe Alex Armstrong is planning to debate some kind of Homeland Party activist. I've kept this video nice and short. I've tried to be concise. I've scripted it out and everything. If he watches this, still go into the debate, perhaps even debate me if there's parts that you have an issue with and disagree with. But I think it's pretty foolproof. And yes, that is why ethnicity always matters. Thank you for watching. Next, I want to do nationality and ethnicity rather than culture and ethnicity, because that is a lot more relevant in the sense that it gets talked about way more, and it's a little bit more complicated. But yes, thank you for watching.